Hello, this is Pablo with Meditation Amsterdam, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the relationship between feeling things and letting go of things. If you think the content of the channel is cool, do subscribe and press the like button for this video, and let's get into it. So there's a common belief out there that you need to confront your fears, and that is in a sense true, but it has been often misinterpreted. And it's good to get into the relationship between our ability to feel something and our ability to deal with something or let something go. So normally when we are afraid of a certain topic, we're going to go through a series of stages of discovery and processing of that fear. The first stage could be one of repression, meaning that you subconsciously make a step in your mind to not be in touch with that fear. And when this happens, the information about that fear is not available to you. So you're not even conscious that you're afraid of the topic, but you see yourself automatically avoiding certain situations or feeling uncomfortable in certain situations, and you probably don't know why. At some point, the reason behind the fear becomes apparent, but you may still not be able or willing to deal with the fear. And that's when repression becomes suppression. So when you suppress something, you know about it, but you don't want to deal with it, so you push it down. And down is here metaphorical, but it really stands for you don't want it. You don't want to be consciously aware of it, so you bottle those feelings into the body and prevent them from flaring up. And then comes expression. And expression is when you start to take actions to prove to yourself that you are no longer afraid of the topic. And so, for example, if you'd be afraid of heights, you're going to go bungee jumping. If you are afraid of, dating, you're going to sort of go out there and speak to people, or, start online dating, whatever. If you're afraid of a certain type of profession, you'll apply for a job there. You get the point, right? So you're going to take mental and physical action towards the things that scare you, and in the hopes that will free you from the fear, and you'll teach your neurology that there's nothing to be afraid of, or you'll try to prove to yourself that there's nothing to be afraid of. Now, this is where we typically make the big mistake. Because in our in society and in our normal understanding of things, expressing a fear, whether it is through talking about it or acting on it, is seen as the healthy thing to do. It means that you are doing something to get over it. And I would submit that even though So repression is an unconscious protection mechanism to keep you sane and to prevent you from losing it. Suppression is also a mechanism to keep you from becoming ego dystonic and from too much emotional unpleasantness to come up. And then expression is supposed to be the thing that solves it all. In other words, when in common parlance we talk about confronting your fears, we understand that as doing the thing that you're afraid of. What we rarely talk about is feeling the fear, right? So the one thing that neither of the top three or the first three options actually allow you to do is to feel the fear, is to allow yourself to come one-to-one with those sensations, with that emotional tone, with those bodily contractions, and then the mental stories that starts to spin in order to try to keep yourself in control or away from this unpleasant emotion that you're suddenly feeling. And you see, that's where the money is at, because all the others are either not dealing with it, or dealing with it on a level that is going to simply address the fear about a certain specificity about the fear. So, for example, if you are afraid of heights, what you're really afraid of is dying, probably, I would say, right? If you are afraid of speaking in public, what you are really afraid of, or what you're really doing, is you are placing your self-validation in the hands of others. And so if you start to speak in public, there is a chance that suddenly you'll make the connection and transform through confronting that fear via external action. But there's also a big chance that you're going to miss out on the opportunity to feel that fear. So the active ingredient that solves or confronts the fear when you express it is that maybe there's a chance that you actually will also allow yourself to feel it and then take action. But it's the feeling it that makes the transformation, not just the action. So cheap bravado sort of, a sort of bravado macho type action doesn't transform the fear in and of itself. It's only when it's felt. It's only the ability to release the bodily and mental contraction in the face of being in contact with the fear or with an unpleasant emotion that creates the true transformation. So what I wanted to communicate in this video is that there is a one-to-one relationship between our ability to feel something directly and transform our relationship with that emotion or with a certain event that is triggering the emotion. And that only when things are felt directly do we have the clarity to see what they are made of, which is nothing but bodily sensations, and therefore make a connection or make a handshake with the part of the body in which that discomfort is being felt, which eventually leads to a familiarity with the discomfort. And from familiarity with the discomfort, we go into the ability to melt into that discomfort, which in turn dissolves the discomfort. So you can see how avoiding discomfort is completely ineffective, but it might be a protective first step that needs to be taken. You can also see how expressing or acting out, or this sort of bravado type of action, what we normally would understand as confronting our fear, is not really confronting the fear. You're just acting it out, but you're not really confronting it. You're not really allowing yourself to feel it, potentially. And then we have this step of coming in touch with the fear, perhaps feeling our recoil as we touch it, becoming more and more familiar with it, and then becoming a kind of investigator, right? So to really becoming that sort of curious research type of what is this made of type of inquiry, especially into the body and its somatics, to feel the contraction, to feel our resistance to feeling the contraction, which creates a kind of Gordian knot that keeps the fear or the unwanted emotion in place, and to just observe it all without adding any mental stories to it and be in direct touch with it. We're not trying to do something to it, but simply get a really, really good read on it. And getting a good read on it and observing the fear, what you're doing is you're touching it, you're neurologically connecting with it. And it's that very connection that was missing, which was creating the contraction and the unwillingness to look. So willingness to look and willingness to feel then are paving the way little by little to the willingness to release. When the release takes place, we are often inclined to say, oh, how stupid of me. All I needed to do was let it go, right? But it's often the case that that letting go cannot be done in a single jump. Sometimes it can be done in a single jump. It depends on the fear. It depends on your readiness. It depends on, whether you have already created within yourself the right mental, emotional angle to say, well, I'll just let this go. It's no longer serving me, and then it opens. But sometimes it's so intense and so ingrained as part of your identity that you're going to have to follow a few steps in getting close to it, getting familiar with it, as uncomfortable as that is. And eventually that familiarity makes you able to sit and touch the fear and not disconnect from it and just be one with it and stay there. And eventually stay there without any iota of an agenda to try to change it, because very often we're staying with it, but we're staying with it so that it goes away. That's still not good enough. You need to get to the point where you stay with it and let it be for what it is. And the moment you let it be for what it is, then it dissolves and the whole thing is resolved. So that is, in essence, the relationship between feeling and letting go. You could almost see them as two sides of the same coin. And you can also then put into a different context this idea of confronting your fears, which is often misunderstood as taking action, taking forceful bravado type action, which is not transformative, could actually be self-damaging or just completely distressful. But it doesn't create the alchemical transformation in your nervous system that you need to really be free of that contraction relationship towards the thing that makes you afraid. So I hope that helps, and I'll be back with more as usual. Cheers, bye.